So what is possible and what isn't? First, to set the scope here, there's 3 categories that I would like to take apart when dealing with mergers, acquisitions, and divestitures, which are on-premises software, on-premises software subscriptions, and cloud subscriptions. As stated earlier, these are treated differently, so understanding these differences will help you understand what you need to look out for. When we look at on-premises licenses, Microsoft will not allow customers to keep licensing software for affiliates that are no longer part of your organization. For that, you need to see the affiliate clause, which I copied on the right. An affiliate is any legal entity that is controlled by, or is under common control with a party. Control means ownership of more than 50% of more than a 50% interest of voting securities in an entity, or the power to direct the management and policies of an entity. Basically saying, if you don't own more than 50%, then it's not an affiliate of your organization. There's many things that you can do about this, and there's concessions that allow you to have joint ventures, for instance, added to your enterprise agreement that you don't control a stake higher than 50% in. But these are all concessions that Microsoft should grant. The basis is this: if you don't have a 50% or more than 50% stake in an organization, it can't be an affiliate of your contract. So when acquiring or divesting an entity with software license assets, you can only transfer fully perpetual licenses. And again, for the avoidance of doubt, these are fully paid licenses without software assurance, fully paid licenses with software assurance with no open software assurance payments, as I explained earlier, and having active annual payments in an EEA, either for LNSA or SA only licenses. These are not fully paid and not transferable. However, you can free up these licenses. Looking at the same picture again, take for instance the overview on the right. If you have 3 different annual installments included in your contract, in the case of LNSA, this means that you pay for 3 times a third license cost in 12 months software assurance. So there's one payment here, a second payment the year after, and a third payment on before your final year commences. So you're paying either a third of a license plus 12 months of software assurance, or if you have SA only payments, you pay 12 months of software assurance. True-ups, as said already, these are paid for immediately for the entire term. If you have these annual payments, you need to accelerate any payments remaining to the date that you are at in order to free these up. So let's say you're halfway in your enterprise agreement. You can free up the licenses by paying the remaining 2 installments. This is called an accelerated payment, and Microsoft should be quite aware of this, though they're often trying to figure out how to handle this best. True-ups, as said, again, these are already paid for the entire term, so these are freely transferable because there is no outstanding payments anymore. Now, these accelerated payments, you can, if you are only divesting software to another organization and you have open annual payments, then you can request to pay for the entire SA term for the license that you need to be transferred. If this is according to the clause that you are allowed to do this, so it's more than 10% of your licenses in your contract, they cannot and will probably not deny this. An important note: you will never transfer software assurance or the remaining software assurance term. So what you will transfer eventually is just the license, but you need to free up the license to be able to transfer it. The accelerated payment helps you free up the transfer. Then you transfer the licenses. What you could request, or the receiving party could request, is to get a credit for the already paid installments and the term, but Microsoft might not grant this to the receiving party. That's a very important thing to note. So be commenting on this more throughout the coming slides as well. Now that we looked at how we can free up licenses, how do you receive these licenses? When you have taken account of all the software licenses that you need to transfer, you can do this through the license transfer form. And on the right, you see the part of the first page of a perpetual license transfer form. You transfer only the licenses, again, not the software assurance that is attached to it. Software assurance can be added by the party receiving the licenses, but you cannot transfer the software assurance itself. And these license transfer forms administer the change. But what is important to note, the license transfer form will not update your Microsoft license statement. You will need to take care of your own license position. And this is what is really weird and what often leads to a lot of confusion. Many organizations might transfer licenses from one affiliate to the next, but it doesn't show up as a transfer in, for instance, a Microsoft license statement. So it will still state that you, as the original buying entity, are have these licenses available, whereas you might have transferred these. So when you are doing your software asset management, it's always good to know if there's any licenses that have been either transferred by you or to you in mergers or acquisitions. Software assurance term that was paid for to free up the licenses are not transferred. You can attach SA to the received license yourself. Again, do request an SA overlap credit if you're the receiving party, though Microsoft has no obligation to grant this and might just say, just pay for the software assurance as of the start of when you receive the licenses without any credit. If the transfer can be done, but the disentanglement takes more time from a technical perspective, there is an option for you to request an amendment, which is called a transitional services amendment, which basically states that if you want to transfer these licenses, but you are not yet able to disentangle the technical environment, Microsoft might give you additional time to do the disentanglement. They won't willingly deny this if you have a good storyline associated to this. So keep that in the back of your mind as well when you work with these types of things, that especially from a server backend perspective, if you have a lot of Windows Server and SQL Server that need to be disentangled and moved from one party to the next, that might take a lot of time. They will be able to grant you this transitional services amendment, but it will always be time limited. So they might say, you can use this for the coming, you can be in this situation for the coming 6 months, 12 months, 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years, but it will always be time bound.